Hi everyone, thank you for watching. Welcome to my channel. My name is Demi and this is my beauty space. So today's video I'm so excited to share with you guys because we are in my brand new filming setup. If you want to see a video on how we literally turned this from absolute mayhem into the filming space it is right now, then let me know and we'll do that type of video for you, a little bit more behind the scenes. But today's video is super exciting because I am doing my very first ever everyday makeup routine. And I've never had an everyday makeup routine. I've always been that person that will switch up my makeup looks depending on how I'm feeling, what the vibe is, if I want to go for color, if I want to go for neutrals. It's pretty much different every single day. But literally since wearing makeup after isolation, I've worn this makeup look and only this makeup look for the last 3 weeks to a month. It's crazy. So I felt so confident in it. I've got so many great products. So if you're interested in seeing how it turns out, then just continue watching. So I keep my everyday makeup in this massive makeup case right here. If you compare it to an average makeup case, which is about this size, it's ginormous. It's so big. I actually got this one gifted to me from my friend Espina, so I actually don't even know where it's from, but I'm pretty sure it's meant to be like a laptop case or a pencil case or something along those lines, but it just fits everything that I need in it, so it's so perfect for me. Okay, so I've started off with my skincare already on. So next is primer. This one here is the Bare Minerals Blemish Ready Mattifying Prep Gel. I do believe that this has actually been reformulated and repackaged, so you can't buy this one anymore, but I do love this primer. I'm almost out, so I'm just going to take a little bit onto the tip of my fingers. That is what the texture looks like. As you can see, it's a little bit runny, so I'm just going to take that between my fingers and go right ahead and apply that all over the skin. And then next, going in with a product that I love, this is the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I actually have gone through all 3 shades. I actually have a 3rd shade that I've actually just finished up. So in my hands, I've got Light 2, which is Alaska, and then Medium 1, which is St. Moritz. And then the one that I just went through was Light 3, which is called Greenland. I've been through literally like 2 of these and then 2 of Greenland, and then this is my first one of this. So I love this product so much. It's pretty much like a lightweight foundation. It's got so much coverage. As you can see, my skin is definitely breaking out quite a bit right now. I do have some scars. I've got some uneven pigmentation. I just have always had like acne scarring and active pimples, so I find that this is pretty much as light of a tinted moisturizer as I can pretty much go, but I love this stuff so much. So I think right now, seeing as I haven't seen this on since isolation or before isolation, I'm still really fair, so I'm going to go in with Light 2, which is the shade Alaska. So it comes with a little squeezy tube, so I'm just going to go right ahead and take about that much product. So you can see it's a pretty good color for me right now. And then for brushes, I actually wanted to try these ones out. These are the Zoeva Opulence brushes. I've used them once before, but I haven't pulled them out in literally such a long time, like since I bought them. So there's 10 brushes in here if I'm correct. There's 10 different brushes in here, and it's a combination of eye and face brushes. So I figured we'd go right ahead and try these out again. So I'm first going to take this brush right here. This is the Zoeva 104 Buffer Brush for foundation, and I'm just going to tap that into the tinted moisturizer, and I'm going to go right ahead and just apply that one onto the skin. So you can see it's such a good color match for me right now because it's got just enough yellow to kind of meet my olive undertones, and this brush is very soft. But you can see what I mean. It does have about light coverage in my opinion, but for a tinted moisturizer, it does cover pretty well. I mean, on camera, it might even look like there's a little less coverage than I can see in real life, but for every day, I find that as much as I can get away with a foundation, I find that even if I just add a little bit of a tinted moisturizer just to sheer the foundation out, I find just gives it a little bit of wear time too. And I find that most tinted moisturizers on my oily skin don't have very good longevity, but as soon as I powder this one down, it does lock itself in for pretty much a solid like 5-6 hours. And because it's not so much coverage, when it does kind of fade away, it doesn't look so obvious. So I'm such a big fan of it. I literally have been using this one probably for about 4 years at this point, and as I said, I have gone through several bottles of this, and I do really love it. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't actually tend to put any foundation around the immediate eye area. I tend to leave that all for my concealer because I find if I've got a thick layer of foundation and then some concealer over the top of it, there's a lot of product there that can crease. So because I do have a lot of fine lines underneath my eyes that can cause my concealer to crease really easily, I find a good tip is just to even remove some of the concealer that I have underneath it and keep it really thin, and then just powder it down really nicely. And I find that that's helped me so much with my under eye creasing and has made everything look so much smoother and just last so much better. So I personally just don't tend to do any type of foundation underneath the eye, just pretty much the whole eye area, and it's helped me so much. So give it a go if you have some problems with under eye creasing. So speaking of concealer, I do have 3 different shades shades of one of my absolute favorite concealers in this world. This is the Nars Natural Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I've got 3 different shades here. I've got light 2 vanilla, light 2.5 creme brulee, and medium 1 custard. So I feel like because I don't want to go too bright underneath the eyes, I'm going to put vanilla down, and I might end up going with custard primarily. So this is medium 1. I know you guys have probably heard of this concealer before. It's such a popular all-rounder. It's so good for coverage, feels really light, doesn't crease a lot, doesn't accentuate dryness underneath the eyes, and I love the shade range. It's such a good concealer. So I'm just going to take it straight from the wand, and I'm going to do about that much product. And I'm going to grab this brush right here from Zoeva. This is the 142 Concealer Buffer Brush. It's just a really, really good domed concealer brush. And I'm just going to start buffing that out. I've really been enjoying using a eyeshadow brush or a smaller brush for concealer because I find that it just kind of tapers it just where you want it. So it's more targeted, which I really like. So you can kind of see as well that this shade of concealer isn't actually that much brighter. It pretty much matches my skin tone, if not maybe just like a 0.5 of a shade brighter. But I find that for me, for an everyday look, I don't want anything too bright because I just want it to almost look like it's my natural skin, just a little bit more smooth. So I find if I go too bright, especially if you do suffer from darker under eyes, because it's so bright, it almost goes grey. It's like if you had a black piece of paper and then a white sheet and then you just put it right over the top, it'd go grey. So for me, I find that I want to keep my concealer underneath the eyes pretty much the same skin tone color, if not maybe a little bit brighter. So I might even run a little tiny bit of that over my eyelid as well, because I am going to use an eyeshadow primer later on, but I find that for me, I just need a little bit of concealing over my eyelid because I am quite red there. And I always make sure I get all that concealer right here in this inner tear duct area. And then speaking of favorite products, this product right here has to be probably like my top 2, maybe top 3. I'm gonna say no, top 2 favorite products in this world. I love this product. I've gone through literally about 4 of these. I usually use one of these 2 shades. This one here is medium 1.5 macadamia, and this is medium 1 custard. Macadamia is usually my tan shade or like my summer shade, but right now, as I said, I'm quite fair, so I'm gonna go in with custard. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and you can literally see how much of this one I've used. I just love this concealer. There's no other better concealer in this world for spots around the face. It is my absolute holy grail of holy grails of holy grails. Like, there's no other better concealer for the face. Like, I don't even want to put that into question. It just is the best. Like, I literally can't even talk enough stuff about this because I love it. Like, chef's kiss. So I'm just going to take one of my clean ring fingers, and I'm just going to literally, I'm not even going to dab in there. I'm going to scrape it against the edge where there's like literally the tiniest little bit of product. That's all that's on my finger, and I'm just going to literally like just tap it right over any blemish. It's like if you had a photo and you just like clicked on a blemish and it just vanished. That's exactly what this does. It's the best. It does dry down to like a demi matte finish, which I find is actually the best because it doesn't make your blemish that you don't really want to draw attention to shiny. Like, do you see that? It's my holy grail. I've literally used it from the day it came out in Australia and I haven't put it down. Like, I try a couple of other things, feel like maybe I'll like them, but I just know that nothing even comes remotely close to this. I love it. It's the best. So next I'm going to go right ahead and set my under eyes. So I'm going to use this product right here. This is the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Perfecting Veil. This is in the shade light to medium. I don't actually hear a lot of people talking about this, but I really love it because it just blurs the skin so perfectly. This is actually a travel size, so it's so small. But on the inside it does come with a sponge, which I haven't used yet, but it is a really soft sponge. And then this is what the powder itself looks like. So you can see it's just a really good skin tone color. So we're going to go right ahead and start to set the under eye using the Zoeva 110 Face Shape Brush, which is pretty much like a larger version of that concealer brush. So I'm first going to make sure that there's no creasing, which there literally isn't. Like, there's nothing underneath here that has creased, but just in case, I'm going to tap just over the top where I find a little tiny bit of creasing, but nothing much. And then I'm just going to tap into the powder. You need a tiny little bit goes a long way. Tap off the excess, and I'm just going to go right ahead and start setting the under eye. So if you see that one eye versus the other eye, you can see it's just so smooth. It's so beautiful. So I'm just actually going to start running it through the whole T-zone. So to set the rest of the skin, I'm going to go in with this Urban Decay Naked Skin Ultra Definition Pressed Finishing Powder in Naked Medium Light. Now I do believe that they've actually reformulated this or created a different version for the Stay Naked collection because I've already bought that one. So I actually don't think you can buy this one anymore, but it just looks like this. As I said, this is in the shade Naked Medium Light. So I don't know if you can buy this one online. I'm actually not too sure, but if not, I do recommend trying the updated Stay Naked version of this because I've heard the best things. So I'm going to try it out eventually. I've already bought it, but for now I'm going to use this one here, and then I'm going to take that on this brush right here because the Opulence collection from Zoeva didn't have a good face powder brush. So I'm going to take the 106 powder brush and I'm going to tap it straight into the product and set the rest of my face. So just like the Bare Minerals powder, the thing I love about this is how pore filling and smoothing it is. It literally is like a human filter. I'm so sad that they discontinued this, so I'm hoping that the updated version of this is going to be just as nice because I love how blurred it makes the skin. Like look at the forehead right there. Do you see how it literally just blurred? It's such a good powder. So I'm even going to run it over the top of where I just set with the Bare Minerals powder. And I also find that this powder just adds the tiniest bit of coverage. Not a lot, but just a tiny, teeny amount. So next to contour the face, I'm going to go into this product right here. I know you know what it is. This is Benefit Hoola. It does come with a brush on the inside, which I actually don't really use. You can see literally like a day ago, I just hit pan on this. It's so crazy. It's such a good contour powder. So I might just take this brush right here. This is the Zoeva 127 Luxe Sheer Cheek Brush because the Opulence collection didn't have one that I liked. And I'm just going to go right ahead and tap just the top of it. So you can see just on the tip into that product. And I'm going to go from the corner of my ear kind of down towards my lip, but I'm not going to take it that much further than the outer corner of my eye. So that's where I kind of find the easiest place to find my cheekbone, and I'm going to go really softly into the hollow of my cheek, and I'm just going to buff it upwards, and then I'm going to do the same thing into my hairline. And I always actually do this without even noticing it, but I kind of go right at the outer corner of my eye. So naturally I already have kind of this shadow here, so I like to kind of accentuate it and pull it back into my hairline. So I do it pretty much without even thinking about it. I just noticed that I do it now, but I actually learned that years ago off Ray Morris, who is an amazing makeup artist. And then I take a little bit more just kind of underneath the chin. I do have a blemish right here, which is just very angry and very painful right now. So yeah, if it peeps through again, I'm sorry. I'm just taking a little bit of the contour and just really roughly kind of popping it down the nose. I don't really mind if it's not contoured properly. I just want to add a little bit just down the bridge and underneath the lip too. And then next for bronzer, can we just talk about how beautiful this packaging is? This is from the brand Chantecaille. It was limited edition, but you can still buy the bronzer on its own. This is the La Sierra Bronzer Highlighter Duo. I did actually buy a backup of this, which is brand new, so I'll haul that eventually when I get to it. But you can see how much I've absolutely abused this one. Like, it's actually meant to be domed, but I don't know if you can see that they're both pretty much flat now. It originally looked like a wave. It's just gorgeous. I love it. It's kind of like a jelly texture. It's so nice. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and just apply the bronzer. I love this bronzer. It's never once looked bad on me. I just literally, I do it so like haphazardly and it just looks good every single time. It's just the perfect bronzer. So you can buy it from Chantecaille. It just has a red packaging now and the print is a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure this is the same as the lighter shade out of the two that they sell now. So I really love it, and I absolutely have abused this thing to death. So I'm really lightly just kind of going across like the whole of my forehead, above where we contoured, kind of even taking it a little bit closer in, and then on top of the nose again, and then just a little bit underneath the jawline too. So you can see it just warms you up so well. It's so simple. It doesn't have any shimmer in it, but you can see it gives you that really beautiful skin-like reflection. It's just so gorgeous. And I love to even just take a little bit of what's on the brush and just kind of sweep it back and forth across like the eyelid. It's very subtle, like you can't really tell that I did it, but it just kind of helps to start working the eyeshadow into the eye area. And then next I'm going to take the highlight underneath with the Zoeva 114 Luxe Face Focus Brush, and I'm going to go right ahead and just coat one side, and I'm going to start highlighting the top of my cheekbone. So I love this highlight because it's actually not super reflective. It pretty much has enough reflection to kind of look like a glow, but it doesn't have any shimmer or glitter or metallicness. It's just almost like a satin finish, which just kind of picks up really nicely only when you turn your head to the side. So you can see it doesn't leave a weird cast or anything across the cheek. I just love it. And as you can see, you can really build it up to make it intense, or you can leave it really sheer and it just kind of looks like skin. It's so beautiful. I love it. So next for blush, I do switch this out quite a bit, but I think I want to go in with this one. This is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude blush in the shade Pink Me Up. It's such a perfect pink, and it's got kind of like a satin matte finish, so you can see when I move it back and forth, it doesn't have a glow to it. So I might even end up mixing it with this product right here from Nars. This blush at the top here is called Orgasm, and it's one of my favorites as well. I love this blush. I use it all the time. So this palette right here, you cannot buy it anymore. It's literally like years old. This is the All About Cheek palette. So it's got Luster, Angelica, Orgasm, Gaiety, Laguna, and Albatross. So you can see it's got 6 of their most popular shades. I love the Nars formula, so I might just go right ahead and I'll start with the matte blush on the Zoeva 135 Petite Face Definer, which looks like this from the Opulent set, and I might just tap it into there. And I'm just going to go right ahead, and I'm not going to start right here. I'm going to start kind of in the center, just in case if you got too much pigment and you popped it there, there'd be nowhere to kind of move it. So I tend to go right here. I bring it back into the hairline, and when I think I've got pretty much next to nothing, that's when I start bringing it into the cheek area. And you can see that I do pretty much every step a kind of this angular direction. Like I don't go this way, like back towards my ear. I go up towards my temple, because I find that it just kind of helps give the illusion of a more lifted angular face. So I really like doing that with my cheek products. So you can see that blush on its own is so beautiful. I'm obsessed. I love it. I wear it all the time. I'm surprised I haven't hit pan on this, because I swear I use it so much. And then next I'm going to take a tiny little bit more of the blush. I know this is definitely one of the steps that some people love and some people hate. I would say I didn't really kind of get the whole idea before trying it probably about 3 weeks ago since wearing makeup again, but I really kind of like the look of it. But I'm just going to take it not on the tip of my nose. I actually take it along the bridge. So I literally do the tiniest little bit, because I don't want it to actually look red. I find that when I did it on the tip of the nose, it almost looked like I had foundation that had rubbed off, because I do tend to go for really skin-like blushes. But right up here, it's so cute. And as I said, if you don't like it, you can totally skip it. So you'll also notice that right here as well, I tend to take the blush just a little bit higher. I have heard that some people pretty much take it into their concealer area. To me, that's a little bit too far, so I kind of keep it right here at the bridge, not the tip, the bridge, and then right here on the apple, and then built the majority of it kind of back into the hairline. So I just like it. I find that that gives you that really beautiful overall blushy effect. And then I take Nars Orgasm, which is this one here, like a tiny little bit goes such a long way, tapping it off, and I pretty much just only kind of put it in like the back half, because once again I do have texture and pores right here, so I find that pretty much only from the side can you see this blush when I wear it in this way. But if you wore it alone, it does look really pretty, but I usually wait for my skin to look pretty good on the days that I choose to do that. So you can see it's just a little bit more blushy. It's super pretty. So all I do is I take my same bronzer brush and I just kind of go back over the edge. So you'll also notice as well that I do my bronzer, then my highlight, then my blush. And I found the reason that I do my blush last is because when I usually do my highlight over the top, because of the textural differences, I found that you'd literally see like matte and then this stripe of highlight, which I just don't like. So I prefer it to look super seamless and pretty much in a way that you can't see where things start and stop. So sometimes I'll even go back and forth between all 3 brushes and just kind of finesse it a little bit. But for me, I find that just by doing blush last, it just kind of blurs the line of matte to highlight, especially if your blush has got more of a satin or even slightly glowy texture. So I've gone right ahead and zoomed you guys in so we can see the eyes, but I'm starting off with a little bit of eyeshadow primer. This is the Nars Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, the original clear one. And I'm just going to go right ahead and just add a little bit over the top of the eyelid. And I'm going to take that same concealer brush and just blend it out. So my most used eyeshadow palette without a doubt has to be this palette right here. Yes, I own 3 of them. This is the Stila Soul palette. I'll see if I can show you guys the one that I've used the most because it's actually been abused. Have a look at this baby. Do you see how empty she is? This brown shadow right here, this one I use quite a bit. This one here looked pretty much like that, like I used about 3/4 of it and then it just shattered and smashed everywhere. So that's why this one looks like it's completely empty. But as you can see, these shadows right here are pretty much like my most used. So I'll show you the other 2 just for the humor sake. The next one looks like this. So you can see, I'm telling you, I use this palette so much. And then the last one looks like this. So I'm pretty sure this is the newest out of the 3. 3. I love this palette. I literally have taken it everywhere with me. So we might as well use the one that looks like the prettiest because the rest of them look pretty bad. So I'm first going to start off by taking the Zoeva 227 Soft Definer brush, which looks like this. It's a good crease brush. As you can see, when I lay it like this, it's flat and then it is cinched on the side. So it is a really good overall eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to take this top middle one called Individual, which is just a neutral brown, and I swirl it really well in there. And then I pretty much like hold the brush upside down or like kind of like at a 45-degree angle, and I literally am going to start just popping this through the crease. So I pretty much end up kind of pulling the shadow up and into the brow here, and then take it down into the crease. And then when I get to the end, I do usually flick up my eyeshadow just to kind of accentuate where I put that bronzer earlier. So I find that I really like the way that this kind of makes my eye look. So next I'm going to go back into the exact same eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to go into this brown shade right here, which is called Being, just with the same brush, and I'm literally going to tap it in there a couple of times, and I'm really lightly going to start just darkening the outer corner of the crease. I don't usually pay too much attention to this step. I just want a tiny, teeny little bit of definition, not too dark. So I'm actually holding the brush on the side that it's cinched. I'm not holding it on the flat side. I'm turning it so it's a little bit more cinched. So it kind of tucks into the crease of my eye, and it just kind of helps define it a little bit better. I know that the MAC 217 brush has a very similar shape, or the Morphe R433 I think it is, also has a very similar shape. So if you don't have this one, the Morphe one's super affordable, and I know that you can kind of achieve the same kind of finished look. So next, moving on to the lower lashes, I'm actually just going to take a combination of those two colors, just back and forth on the 223 Petite Eye Blender, and I'm just going to really lightly run this underneath the eye. And then I'm going to take that exact same blender brush we just used just into the brown, and I'm just going to really lightly just blend out those two shadows underneath. So it is a little bit smoky, so if you don't like it, you can take a smaller brush. But I just find that when I've got my mascara on, it just kind of helps it look a little bit more complete. And then next, going on to the lid shade, I'm going to go back into the palette, and I'm going to take the Zoeva 233 Cream Shader. Any flat eyeshadow brush will do. And I'm going to do a combination of these two shadows. And then I'm pretty much just going to go right ahead and just apply that all over the lid. Normally I find that every flat shader brush will kind of have a really good shape for this, so you don't have to be too particular. I do really like ones that are a little bit more flat, because then I can kind of almost slightly carve out a little bit of my crease, predominantly in the center part, and then I just kind of fade it back. But to be honest, you can even take your finger if you don't have a brush. So next I'm taking this beautiful product right here. This is the Hourglass Scattered Light in the shade Rapture. I've absolutely used this so much that I even bought a backup of it. So you guys will see that pretty soon. But literally, I love this shade. I know a lot of people would think everyday look and look at a red and be like, I don't think so. But for me, it makes the world of a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Zoeva 317 Wing Liner Brush, which looks like this. It's such a good liner brush. And I'm just going to tap it into the product, get an even coat. I love the Scattered Lights. I literally own every single one that they have. So if you haven't tried them already, I'm a massive fan and I do recommend them a lot. They are fantastic. So what I'm literally going to do is I'm going to start basically painting on a wing liner shape. So as I said, this is probably a step that if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you can pass on. But when you see the finished look, you'll kind of understand that it is kind of a crucial, integral part to this look, especially for me in particular, because I really love the way that this looks against my brown eyes. So I am taking this wing pretty thick and pretty wide. I love this color so much. As you can see, it's such a beautiful like cranberry red color, and it looks almost like copper in some lights because of the little sparkles in it, and I love the way that it looks, and those scattered lights are just divine. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with some eyeliner. So as I said this whole entire time, if you don't feel comfortable with wing liner, you don't feel comfortable with liner in general, the double wing, the eyeshadow, feel free to skip on it. But for me and my eye shape and my makeup preferences, I find that eyeliner is such an important part to my finished look, because by having that darker line above and the wing shape, it kind of pulls my eyes up and out, and it really does kind of draw the attention to my eyes, which are my favorite feature on my face. So I love a good liner, so I'm going to go right ahead and just create a wing. So there we go. That's what it looks like when you do have the double wing. As I said, it's super subtle, but especially when I'm talking to people in real life, I do notice that people actually will pay attention to that little tiny bit of rose. So as I said, if you don't feel comfortable, skip it, but I just find that for me, it just kind of helps make my eyes pop, which I really love. So the next thing I'm going to do is go back in with that liner brush that we used for the red, and I'm going to dip it into the black shadow in the bottom, which is called Essence, and I'm just going to basically kind of diffuse the whole outer corner of that wing. So I'm just kind of going right over the top of the edges, winging it out a little bit more, kind of making it a little bit fuzzy and hazy, and I find that for me, it really does kind of make my eyes look a little bit more sultry. Like you can even see like a tiny little bit, it makes a big difference. I pretty much end up stopping right about halfway. So yeah, that's pretty much how the eyes look. So you can see just by kind of feathering out that outer corner, it does kind of make my eyes look a little bit more sultry, a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more smoky, which I do really love that smoky look. My everyday makeup routine is not natural. You can totally just remove the whole entire eye, a little bit less blush, add some mascara and a brow, and that's your natural look. But for me, I really love to play up my eyes with my favorite feature on my face. So I just went right ahead and started by curling my lashes. So next we've got mascara. So this is the Kevyn Aucoin, the curling mascara. It's one of my top 2 favorite mascaras ever. I love it so much. This is the updated packaging. The old packaging I actually have right here. This is the volume mascara, so it's the exact same formula but a different wand. This is the volume, so it's a teeny tiny little skinny petite wand. It's really, really great for separating and the lower lashes as well. And then the curling mascara, which is the one we're going to use today, does have more of your standard shape wand. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger. Just really depends on which wand you prefer. I find the volume is probably a little bit better for someone with shorter lashes or wants a little bit more separation. And then the curling mascara is better for somebody that has a little less time and just wants to get it done a little bit faster or just likes a bigger one. So I'm going to go right ahead and use the curling one today. This is a tubular formula, which means basically it never smudges or smears. It's not waterproof, but because it's literally like a tube that binds to your lashes, when you take it off at the end of the day, all you need is warm water and it comes off like little spider legs. It's the best, and that's why I find that for me, I love it because I've got super watery eyes, and every single time I apply this mascara, I get no flaking, no smudging, no smearing, no irritation to my eyes, and I just literally love to take it off at the end of the day because just with my washcloth, I just hold it against my eyes, pull it down, and my mascara is gone. It's the best. So already you can see it does make a big difference. I love the way that this just makes my lashes look so natural, so separated, so fluffy, but still gives it so much length, so much depth. And as I said, the fact that you don't have pan dries at the end of the day doesn't make removing your makeup a total pain. It's such an underrated mascara. If you haven't tried it already, as I said, it's my top 2 mascara. I love it. It might even be my top 1. I can't give that position away super easily, but I do. I really obsess over this mascara. So next, another step that kind of changes every now and then is actually my brow pencil. So this one here is from Les Sourcils. This is the shade number 4, which I do believe is like a dark brown. And it's just a really great little tiny precise brow pencil. So I'm going to go right ahead and start filling in my brows. I learned this trick from Alana Davidson. If you feel like you've gone a little bit too hard on the inner corner of your brows, you can just take a brush and just kind of flick at it, and it does kind of soften it. It's such a good little tip. So I can't seem to find my regular brow gel, so we're going to go in with this one from L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper in the shade medium/dark, and I'm just going to start kind of brushing my brows up and into place. So next, moving on to lips, I have found that my lip combo pretty much changes on the daily basis, so I don't really have a signature lip combo, but it usually is like a nudie peach or a nudie rose or a nudie pink. I do find that I usually gravitate to those type of tones, so I just pulled these 2 out of my collection. The first one is the Revlon Colorstay lip liner in the shade Rose, which is pretty much a spot-on dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in the shade Pillow Talk, I think it is. It's that pinky nude color, and I found that this is pretty much spot-on identical to it, like pretty much identical, the exact same color. And then the other one that I have here is the MAC lipstick in the shade Kinda Sexy. It is pretty much a really, really close match to it. It's such a good little lip combo. So I'm going to go right ahead and apply that. So I always start right here at the corner of my lip, and I just draw diagonally up towards my cupid's bow. And then what I do when I come up to the cupid's bow is I like to either make it really round or completely straighten it out. So I'll show you what I mean by straighten it out. So instead of going like this, I go literally like this. So if I want that really like pouty, full-on pouty lip, I will literally draw completely through my cupid's bow. So pretty much it's like a big circle. I find that I don't usually overline my lips too much right here, but when it comes to the top, that's when I do. And then I'm gonna do the bottom normally. If I was planning on doing a slightly darker lip, I'd even do the cinch marks, I call them. They're basically where you create artificial folds in your lip, and it just kind of helps create that poutier lip. But I feel like because obviously this is the same color as my lip, not even a shade darker, you can even like fill them in completely. But for me, I find that usually I will either do one of those three methods where I literally will fill in the entire cupid's bow, I'll do the lines, and then I'll even sometimes, like if it's a darker lip liner, once again will fill out these corners to really create that pouty lip. But just because it's pretty much the same color, I'm just going to go right in with a lipstick. For some reason on camera this lip is looking a little bit more rosy. In reality, like in person, it actually looks completely nude. So I'm going to go over the top with a little bit of this MAC Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color in the shade Lookout. It's like a grayish. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of this. You can see I've literally not even used it yet. It's a brand new freshie. I'm just going to do a couple of dots right in the center. And I'm just going to blend that over the top to just mute it. So you can see when I do have the whole entire lip done, it doesn't look weird, the whole rounded cupid's bow. It's very subtle. If you didn't know I already did it, you probably wouldn't know that I've done it, if that makes any sense. So I do love this lip combo. You can add a gloss if you want to. I think I'll keep it nude for today. Normally I do end up wearing a gloss, but I feel like I really like the way that it looks just like as it is. So then the last thing we have to do is set everything down. So I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is exclusive to Meccaland. So this is actually the Summer Solstice scent. Any Urban Decay spray will do. So I'm just going to go right ahead, shake up this bottle, it's brand new, and fan myself off. So yeah guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this everyday makeup look. As I said, you can totally take parts, remove parts, edit it to the way that you would like your makeup to end up looking. But for me, as I said, I love the way that everything comes together. It makes me feel really put together. It makes me feel really pretty and really confident, and that's what makeup is meant to do. Let me know how you're also feeling about the lighting, the backdrop, the quality of the audio, everything like that. Let me know, and if it's not perfect, I'll adjust it even slightly for you guys as well. But I'm so happy with the way that everything turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the video. Please feel free to leave me a like, comment, and leave any requests that you have down below in the comment bar. Subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell and drag it all the way down to all to become a part of this family and be notified of all my future videos. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. I can feel myself getting red. I'm back. I'm a freak.